Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, December 3rd, and I'm your host, Kristen McDonald. It is great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. A historic mark has been made at Norwood Hospital this week. A groundbreaking ceremony was held to commemorate the construction of a brand new facility, the first major hospital built in the area in 25 years. Brian Boudreau has the full story.
After serving the town of Norwood for over 100 years, Norwood Hospital was shut down immediately in June of 2020 following record-breaking and catastrophic flooding in the town. Hospital President Salvador Perla is happy to announce the next chapter in Norwood Hospital's story.
At a very high level, the new Norwood Hospital will include 130 private acute care rooms, emergency services including trauma, pediatrics, and behavioral health capabilities, a regional STEMI center with state-of-the-art cardiac catheterization labs, advanced diagnostic imaging, a variety of outpatient services that are included but not limited to women's health, breast care, gynecology, pulmonology, diabetes, and endocrine.
If you think about where we were 16 months ago as a Commonwealth, we were still in it in a pretty big way with respect to the pandemic. And there was a tremendous amount of concern about losing all this capacity, all this terrific community hospital capacity while we were in the midst of what we were all dealing with COVID generally. And I have to say that in some ways, this is a really positive example of how a hospital system can make this kind of day like today possible.
Member of Norwood Hospital Board of Directors and Norwood resident Joan Jacobs explains how this new hospital will impact the Norwood community.
Oh, the technology is going to be outstanding. It's going to be the very latest and the very best of everything that they have available. It is so nice to know that they're going to have the cardiac cath lab here so that you never have to worry about, people having a heart attack and having to drive a half an hour to get to a hospital. It's going to be right here in the heart of Norwood. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Town manager Tony Mizuko is grateful for the new project to be moving forward, but not first without thanking all the first responders that helped out on that chaotic day.
It meant a lot to me. It's something that I think in the story and the history of Norwood Hospital, we're always going to remember the flood that took out the hospital and the rebuilding of the hospital and hopefully down the road the new hospital. But I don't want anyone to forget June 28th, 2020 and what Norwood employees did and what the community did to rescue the hospital, to save the patients in the hospital, and to take care of the community both at the start of the flood and throughout it. Our employees did some incredible stuff. Norwood Fire and Police evacuated the entire hospital in just a couple of hours. No injuries among first responders, no injuries among patients. It's really unprecedented. It's the kind of thing you train for and you plan for and you don't ever expect to happen, all in the midst of the worst storm we've seen in 100 years, the worst pandemic we've seen in 100 years, and they performed admirably. So as we tell the story of the hospital, as we go through the process, I just want everyone to remember what Norwood Police and Norwood Fire and Norwood Light and Norwood DPW did that night on one of the darkest days for our community. They shone through pretty bright.
Chairman of the Norwood Board of Selectmen, Tom Maloney, details the geographical significance of Norwood Hospital and how it's not only important to the Norwood community, but surrounding towns as well.
The hospital is really important to the region. I mean, this is like, if you look geographically, this is a really well-situated hospital. So it serves the interests not just of the town, but of the region and of the Commonwealth. It's going to be a great facility. We are so looking forward to it.
The first of many historic milestones has been marked here today at Norwood Hospital. Norwood Community Media will continue to follow the construction process and provide you up-to-date information. For Norwood News, I'm Brian Boudreau.
Thank you, Brian. We look forward to seeing the construction process. Last weekend, many residents gathered on the Common for the return of a seasonal favorite, the holiday extravaganza. There were many events, from a reindeer dash to the holiday tree lighting. The event was hosted by the Rec Department, and Travis Farley recaps the day.
So today is our annual holiday extravaganza. This is something we do traditionally the Sunday after Thanksgiving. This is actually the first one we've had in 2 years because of COVID, and this is actually the first one we've had without Bernie Cooper, unfortunately. This is the first year we had a holiday tree lighting, so we're pretty excited about that. But it's just a great free community event. We had Mr. and Mrs. Claus here. We had hay rides, face painting, crafts, just a lot to do for families on a Thanksgiving Day break and celebrate the holidays. And a big thank you to Norwood Bank and TD Bank, who are our key sponsors for the event. Yeah, so we actually had it snow earlier, which is the first. This is my 7th one, I think. This is the first time it snowed on the extravaganza day. So we've got some really positive feedback. I think people are very happy to get back to the whatever the new normal is and having events like this in Norwood.
Thanks, Travis. It looked like a lot of fun. Stay tuned after this break for more town news. Welcome back. It's the holiday season down at the library. Here's Library Director Clayton Cheever with this month's Moral Moment.
Greetings from the Morrow Memorial Library, Norwood's public library for everyone. I'm Clayton Cheever, your library director. I'd like to tell you about a few things happening here at the library this December. There are few things in life that are more endearing than receiving a handmade gift from a child who's special in your life. Every week, our children's department prepares take and make craft kits for kindergartners that you can pick up and put together at your own home. Whether you choose to keep them or give them away, that's totally up to you. Please register each week you'd like us to save one for you so we can make sure that we have enough. The link can be found on our online calendar every Monday for that week's kit. Just visit us online at Norwood Library, that's all one word, .org. You can give us a call at 781-769-0200 at extension 3, or drop by the library while we're open. We're open from 9 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 10 to 5 on Fridays, 9 to 5 on Saturdays, and from 2 to 5 on Sundays. Learn how to decorate for the holidays in a sustainable way with the next program in our Fall Sustainability Series. It's happening on Wednesday evening, December 8th, starting at 7. This workshop's made possible by the Friends of the Library and presented in partnership with Progress Norwood, Together Yes, and Norwood Community Media, and will be presented by Kristen Nicholson of Blue Stem Natives, who will provide advice on responsible foraging techniques, upcycling natural materials, and supporting wildlife this winter. Any winter holiday needs some decoration, and we can reduce our impact on nature while celebrating. We'll be presenting this program in a hybrid fashion, so you can register to attend either in person or online via Zoom. You'll find the links on our online calendar. Speaking of what you can find when you visit us online, have you explored what's available to watch on Canopy? Everyone who lives in Norwood has access to an incredibly large and diverse streaming film library. From classics, independents, and foreign films to cult favorites, award-winning documentaries, and big-budget Oscar Award winners, you're sure to find something you'll like on Canopy. Once you sign up for an account, you can borrow up to 10 titles a month. The Great Courses catalog has some excellent educational options, and the Kids Collection provides unlimited viewing of a ton of great titles for our younger friends. Now, I've brought some books with me today that I'm excited to tell you about. Peter Reynolds has a brand new book out. If you don't know his work, I encourage you to check it out. While he lives nearby Dedham, and he and his brother own the Blue Bunny in Dedham Center, his books have been translated into over 25 languages and are beloved around the world. His latest is called Our Table, and it's a very sweet story about the importance of getting away from distractions and spending time together as a family around a table. It's sure to bring joy year-round and will especially resonate at holiday time. Norwood's own Patty Fanning also has a new book out called Keeping the Past, Norwood at 150. This is a great collection of local stories that's guaranteed to capture your attention. We have copies you can borrow, and if you want to own your own, we have them for sale as well at the main desk, where you can also buy other items celebrating our town's 150th birthday, which we'll be helping to celebrate all of 2022. I've one other book that I want to recommend today. It's a grand sweeping historical novel, perfect for cuddling up with on a long winter's night. Geraldine Brooks wrote People of the Book, and the story starts with Hannah Heath, an Australian rare book expert, comes in contact with one of the earliest Jewish volumes ever to be illuminated with images. This rare book was rescued during the Bosnian War and opens a door to a wildly rich past, filled with hedonistic salons, priests, art forgers, ultra-nationalist fanatics, and more. I've brought along a new item to our library of things that you may want to borrow and take home. We've recently increased the number of cellular hotspots we have available so you can make sure you have the internet available wherever you go. These can be especially helpful if your cell phone has a limited data plan or if you'll be traveling and won't otherwise have internet access where you're visiting. I've also brought along one of our many jigsaw puzzles to remind you how fun these can be for an entire family to work on together. We have an extensive collection of puzzles you can come browse and borrow. These and many more helpful items are available in our Library of Things, which you can drop in to peruse or browse and request online from our website at Norwood Library, that's all one word, .org. Just look under the Books and More menu for the link. This has been a Moral Moment. From everyone here at the library, I wish you and yours a safe and happy December.
Thanks, Clayton. For full details, check out the library calendar online. Children in Norwood have lots to look forward to this winter at the library. Here's children's librarian Kate Teague with the latest in children's programming.
Hi everybody, this is Miss Kate from the Children's Room at the library, and we wanted to give you some December updates. I know we're not in our usual space, we're not actually in the children's room, but this space is very special in the library. This is actually the trustees' room, and long ago, many people might remember that this used to be what was known as the intermediate room, which was sort of what we used to call young adult. So yeah, the children's room used to be upstairs on the 3rd floor of the library, and so did the intermediate room. We actually now have a young adult hallway downstairs in the main part of the library, so this is now our trustees' room that we use for meetings. But it's super fun to be up here to give you guys an update about what's happening at the library. In December, we're going to be doing more online programs and take-home programs. And then in January, we are going to be starting with our in-person programs for children here at the library. We are going to be having reduced capacity for all of our programming, and it would all occur in our 2nd floor Simone room so we can give everybody enough space. We're going to ask folks to be masked, and the staff will be masked too. But we are really excited to do in-person story times. We're really excited to do in-person alphabets. We're thinking of having a building block program for our friends who love STEM and who love to build. And we're going to be doing once a month programming for teens and school-aged kids. The best way to find out about our programs is by going to our website, which is norwoodlibrary.org. Scroll down a little bit and you'll notice a little box that says sign up for newsletter. And you can enter in your email address and we will email you monthly newsletters with all of the goings on that are happening at the library. So make sure you do that so you can keep up to date with what's happening here. We will still be doing our Take and Make, our very popular Take and Make craft program. This is an example of something that will be going out next week. It's our little penguin friend. But we're going to be running these pretty much every week through most of the winter. So if you head again to our website, you can head to the calendar under the events tab and you can sign up. Make sure you sign up every week so you can reserve your craft kit. And what we do is we hold craft kits for 1 week. And if you don't come and pick it up, that's okay. We'll just give it to somebody else who's interested after that week passes. So that's our craft program for pretty much the rest of the winter. So everybody, I thought it would be kind of fun to do a little roundup of some new books that we just got in the children's room. So I have 3 picture books that I think are going to be really awesome to read this winter. The first one is called Outside, Inside. And it's a really perfect book because it's sort of about the transition that took place at the beginning of the pandemic when we were used to going out lots of places and seeing our friends. In the transition, we went to being inside and having to stay at home with our families and how we've sort of coped with that. It's a wonderful, gentle story, and it's a really great read for children who are kind of wondering like why when we used to go out, things used to be fun outdoors and fun outside meeting with friends, and why we're now inside staying at home more and protecting our families and our friends that way. So this is a great book for this time especially. I also have another book. Maybe the adults in the audience might remember this one. This is actually a picture book biography of Bob Ross. For those of you who are too young to remember Bob Ross, he was a painter who had his own show on PBS. And this is a fantastic picture book biography about all his life and his work. And finally, because it feels like we're on the verge of winter, even though technically it's still fall, we have this one, which is called The 10 Ways to Hear Snow. So we think of snow as something that happens quietly, and snow does kind of muffle sounds, but this picture book is all about the different ways that we can actually learn to listen when snow blankets the whole world. So 10 ways to hear snow. And we have lots more than this that's new in the children's room. So make sure you stop by the library and we can help you find some books. We'll see you at the library soon. Bye.
Thanks, Kate. Be sure to register online for these awesome events. And now we're going to toss it over to Dory Theos for school news.
Hi guys, I'm Dory Theos, a senior at Norwood High School, and let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. Norwood High School has a program called Innovation Pathway. One pathway focuses on healthcare, and the objective is to create a student-driven learning experience that is academically and intellectually challenging and will prepare students for college and healthcare careers. Students recently resumed their field work at Harvard Medical School in the Longwood medical area. Students were excited and enthusiastic to continue the process of scientific inquiry to identify the illnesses presented in each case. The Callahan had an exciting week before the Thanksgiving break. Students in grade 2 wrote essays from A Turkey in Disguise. In addition, Miss Atillo displayed students' artwork in the hallway in the Gallery of Gratitude. It's a good thing that Mrs. Brown enjoys pies. Mrs. Wood's class earned the honor of pieing the principal at the top fundraising class in the recent Pumpkin Palooza. You could say they kept their eyes on the prize. Also, the Callahan students in Miss Lawrence's music classes also performed the Gobble Gobble Turkey Wobble. Let's take a look. Second graders at the Cleveland School received a mood boost thanks to the school's district food services program. Students learned firsthand the connection between food and feelings as they tried a mix of raspberries and chocolate chips. Composer, producer, and sound designer Brent Daniels visited the Cleveland School and demonstrated how to use technology to create music. Several students during the enrichment program contributed vocal sounds that were sampled and transformed into an original song that had the school rocking. Here's a quick clip. Third grade students at the Prescott School are learning about wind and lift as they practice persistence and perseverance while using the wind tunnel in the library. Using a piece of paper, they need to create an object that will freely rotate in the tunnel for 10 seconds. The wind tunnel was constructed by Mr. Ruland and it traveled to all 5 elementary school libraries during the year. This week at the Little Mustangs Preschool Academy, students started on their journey to explore the different holidays around the world. During the month of December, preschoolers are going to be learning about the many different holidays, celebrations, and traditions. While having fun, students are learning to be open-minded, respectful, and accepting of the different cultures and traditions. So far, students have created a large world bulletin board display by gluing tissue paper onto a large paper. They made cute handprint reindeers and beautiful menorahs to celebrate Hanukkah. Students explored different shapes and colors by completing holiday patterns. Preschoolers had fun playing dreidel games and completing activities on a large touchview screen. In the upcoming weeks, preschoolers will be learning about Kwanzaa, St. Nicholas Day, Christmas, and many more wonderful holidays. Holiday season is always fun at the preschool. Well, that's it for school news. There is something interesting happening in our classrooms and schools every day, and thanks to all the educators who share their news with us. Now let's send it over to Mike Maloof with the latest in sports.
Hello and welcome to the Sports Update. The winter sports season has begun and most teams hosted their tryouts this week. Before we take the time to break down the winter sports season, we will recap the final week of the fall season. Last week, Norwood hosted Dedham in the annual Thanksgiving football game. It was a beautiful day and a large crowd was on hand to honor the senior cheerleaders and football players before the game. It didn't take long for the Mustangs to get on the board with a 26-yard run from Brian Mateer. Then, Dedham marched right down the field and responded with a 30-yard touchdown pass to knot the game at 7. The first play of the ensuing drive for the Mustang offense, Brian Mateer took one to the house, this time a 60-yard touchdown run. That put the Mustangs up 14-7, and they never looked back from there. Mateer scored twice more in the first half to up his total to 4 and put the Mustangs up 27-14. The second half was much of the same for the Mustangs, but the only difference was the other half of the dynamic duo at running back, Sabod DeCall, punched one in for a short touchdown run. Both running backs gained enough yards during the game to put them over the 1,000-yard mark for the season. This was the first time the Mustangs have had two 1,000-yard rushers in one season since the early 2000s. Dedham scored two late touchdowns and the game ended 42-29 to earn the Mustangs their 50th Thanksgiving win. We were able to catch up with Coach Lopes after the game.
Yeah, we came out, we thought we were going to be able to run the ball, and we came out and leaned on them a little bit. Brian and Sub both capped 1,000 yards on the season. We knew coming in that Brian had a pretty good shot at it. Sub had an uphill battle, and right away you could tell he wanted it. I don't know if he knew how many he had to get, but he wanted it, and he went out and got it. So we leaned on him. Our defense did a great job stopping the run. We struggled at first in the secondary, but we came around, and everything panned out in our favor.
Then on Saturday, Norwood High School honored their 2021 Athletic Hall of Fame inductees. The day started with the reception for family and friends and the opportunity for athletes to meet one another. The inductees and their families gathered for photos, and the ceremony began in the NHS auditorium and was also broadcast live by NCM. This year's inductees were Chuck Hopkins, class of 1974, Mike Pedroli, class of 1995, Jackie Demling, class of 2000, John Balerna, class of 1975, Mike Young, class of 2006, Patty Robinson Kelly, class of 1997, and Coach Sharon Stye, who coached the field hockey team from 1971 to 2005. For Coach Stye, it was a very, very special day.
I'm just so thrilled, and the video was fabulous. To hear Kathy Shikoy talk like that about me was incredible, and to have so many of my former players here, it meant the world to me, really. I loved every minute of coaching in Norwood.
The day was filled with speeches and videos highlighting the great careers of the 6 athletes and the 1 coach. For President Brian McDonough, he was happy to have everyone back in person.
It's 2 years since we've been here, and it's great to be back with the Norwood High Athletic Hall of Fame induction. This class has waited there 2 years, and it's so nice to see them be honored today. It's a special group of athletes, and Coach Stye, we want to congratulate them all. Thank Norwood Community Media for a great job doing today's presentation.
Congrats again to these athletes on an honor well deserved. Then on this past Wednesday, Athletic Director John Longley presented to the school committee all the athletic award winners for the 2021 fall season. This was a long list, but let's take a listen.
So our Tri-Valley League award winners for cheerleading were Caroline Curran and Madison Carrero, who were both All-Stars, and Kaylin Carrero, who was honorable mention. Boys cross country, Dylan Hamway and Dylan O'Brien, who were both All-Stars, and Jacob Bodenhofer, who was honorable mention. Both Dylans actually qualified for the Massachusetts State meet, and they were our first males to qualify for that meet in a number of years. It's a significant accomplishment, so congratulations to both of them, and they're both juniors, so they'll be returning next year. Girls cross country, Ashley Gonzalez was honorable mention. Field hockey, Shay Larkey was an all-star. Jenna Costa, all-star. Delaney Gover, all-star. And Shannon Gover, honorable mention. Football, we had Brian Mateer, all-star. Sean Quinn, all-star. Sabod DeCall, all-star. Joey Steves, all-star. Igor Reese, all-star. Matt Alves, all-star. Brandon Francis, all-star. Matt Mahoney, all-star. And Justin Scahill, all-star. Casey Sheehan was an honorable mention. In golf, Aaron Sullivan was an all-star. Ethan Barrows, all-star. And Sean Dittmeyer and Brian Conley were honorable mention. Boys soccer, Chris Giovanni was an all-star, and Celestin Diaz was an honorable mention. Girls soccer, Cecilia Venditti was an all-star, and Trisha Lukowski was honorable mention. Girls volleyball, Elizabeth Hinkston was honorable mention, and Katie Mullen, all-star. And then we started unified basketball this year. So that was a great success. Guidance counselor and boys basketball head coach Kristen McDonald took on the responsibilities of head coach. She also had some help from Cindy Durain, and they had a very successful first season. And so we've listed Francisco Sertor and Eve Andros and Donovan Cahill. Those were their individual team awards.
Well, that does it for the 2021 fall season, and now winter is upon us. Next week, we'll break down the broadcast schedules for the month of December. That's all for sports this week. Make sure to follow us on social media for any updates. Kristen, back to you.
In government, the Board of Selectmen had a chock-full agenda Tuesday night. First, holding a joint meeting with the Conservation Commission to discuss the future of the St. Street lot, which will be now named after the longtime Assistant General Manager, Bernie Cooper, who passed away in January of this year. Travis Farley of Norwood Recreation and Carrie McCarthy of the Norwood Senior Center both submitted their monthly department updates to the board. The board also set the future dates of their meetings. The Selectmen meet again on December 7th. The school committee met remotely Wednesday evening. Principal of the Willett, Stephen Billhart, was the first appearance of the evening. After a brief discussion, the group voted to name the Little Mustang Preschool Academy playground Carol's Corral after the late Carol Poirier. Then John Longley and Kathy Connor-Moen presented their athletics and fine arts student recognition winners. Great work to all the students for a job well done during a very difficult year. The final two appearances were Mr. Quigley providing a health council report and Dr. Wyeth presenting the elementary analysis and reimagining MCAS. Later in the meeting, committee members Maya Bodenhofer and Anne-Marie Mazzola submitted their budget update, and Teresa Stewart and Dr. Thompson discussed the 2022 school start times. To end the meeting, the committee covered the new school committee protocols. Their next meeting will be December 15th. Also Wednesday, the Conservation Commission began their meeting by continuing the public hearing for 87 Plantation Circle. The applicants are applying for the addition of a 2-story garage, back deck, and front and rear porches within a buffer zone to bordering wetlands. Following the continuance, the Commission discussed wetland issues and updates regarding Rojo's Gas Station, 92 Hazelwood Drive, and 83 Moore Street. To end the meeting, the Ending Orchard Subcommittee provided an update. There was a CPC report, and the Commission discussed their 2022 meeting schedule. The next meeting for the Conservation Commission will be December 15th. For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break for more town news. Welcome back. The King has entered the building. In late November, the Senior Center celebrated Thanksgiving with a performance by rock and roll legend Elvis Presley. Everyone enjoyed fresh ice cream sundaes served alongside their favorite tunes. The most fun of all was simply getting together during the holidays. Senior Center Director Carrie McCarthy tells us why it's so important to spend quality time with your loved ones this winter.
Oh, it's so important for people not to be socially isolated during the winter months. As the weather gets colder, people tend to stay in a little bit more. So we try to bring out some great programs and bring them into this big room where everybody can socialize safely and keep engaged. For the winter months, we're just going to ask people to wear masks while they're indoors, walking around, playing card games, bingo, the real close contact activities. When you're exercising, you do not have to wear it because we have this large space that people can really social distance in. And when you're in the cafe having your coffee, obviously you can't have your mask on, but we're just asking people to be considerate of others during these winter months.
Thanks, Carrie, and be sure to check out the December newsletter for the full lineup of holiday festivities at the Senior Center. Just a reminder to residents that Saturday is the annual Circle of Hope's Luminary Night. Head up to the Common at 4 p.m. for this great event. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.